Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. The Rideshare Hub is a channel all about being a better rideshare driver and making more money. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Also ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded with the Rideshare Hub. But before we get started, if you've been thinking about becoming a Uber or Lyft driver, make sure you click the link in the description below. All right, so we're going to be talking about a couple of different things today. First, it's going to be a little refresher course for anybody who's been driving for a little while. Also, for anybody who's new, it's definitely good to know this information. And this is going to be a list of 10 things that a rideshare driver, whether it's Uber, Lyft, or any other rideshare platform, are things that you should not do. So it's definitely, like I said, a lot of it's going to be common sense, common courtesy, but a lot of people aren't doing it or aren't following it. And it can affect, one, your driver rating. It can also affect your tips, and it can just affect your overall mood, whether you enjoy driving for Uber or Lyft or another platform or whatnot, you know. So these are definitely a few things. When you have better rider experiences, you're going to definitely like it a little bit better. And again, you're probably going to get paid more. All right, so a couple of different things. Let's start off with safety. So here's a couple of tips that you want to follow to be safe, both while you're driving and also especially when you have passengers. First, do not call or text people when driving a passenger or just driving in general. In a lot of places, it's illegal. Don't do it. It provides an unsafe atmosphere for the passenger, but also yourself. You run a greater risk at getting into an accident. Just don't do it. It's simple. Pull over to get a text after the ride's over, and to text out. Make that phone call as well by pulling over or going in a parking lot, taking a few minutes off. So definitely don't do that. Another big thing, don't watch videos. I've heard a few stories where drivers will watch videos on their phone or YouTube or Vimeo or whatever it might be. Don't drive and watch them at the same time. I mean, like, that's just kind of common sense, but yeah, you should have the map up so you know where you're going and you're not going to get into an accident by watching this video and just being distracted completely. But definitely don't watch videos. And just drive safely. You know, pay attention to the road. That's really what you're doing. One, you don't want to get into an accident because it's going to ruin your day. But it's also a problem with the passenger being in the car because, you know, they're at risk as well too. So you don't want to harm or hurt anybody else, especially when it comes to passengers. But when it comes to your own vehicle, when it comes to yourself, you know, just be safe about things. So those were 3 things definitely that help with being safe within the vehicle itself. Number 4, don't push an agenda. Like, don't talk about sex, politics, religion. You know, you can talk about that on your own time, but people have different views and different opinions. And you can't push that on somebody, and you got to respect that with other people. If you push those agendas, people are going to definitely be turned off, where it's going to give you a low star rating. You could also get reported to Uber or Lyft, and an investigation could start. So you definitely don't want to do those things. Those are the no-no topics. So just keep it that way. You know, if you're going to talk with your passenger, make good, lighty heart conversation. You know, talk about the weather, talk about what's going on. You know, they'll probably open up with a lot of crazy things that are happening. So you might get a real window into their life for a few minutes. So, you know, let it happen. See if it happens. Otherwise, you know, just sit there, drive, and listen to some music. Don't worry about pushing an agenda, though. Number 5, be awake, especially if you drive at night. Don't drive while you're tired. You want to make sure you're awake. You want to make sure you're alert. It is going to be driving with safety, but you definitely want to make sure you're awake and alert. You know, grab that coffee, grab that energy drink, or just go home if you aren't feeling well. So definitely be awake when you're doing that. Another thing, don't drink Drinking and driving is a horrible, horrible thing that's completely preventable. I have heard where there's been Uber drivers and Lyft drivers who are drunk and behind the wheel. Don't do it. It's absolutely horrible. And if you're doing that, you should be deactivated, and you should probably be serving some sort of fine or jail time. I'm a very big advocate against drinking and driving for many reasons, but definitely do not drink and drive. Even to have to say something like that is, I think, ridiculous and well beyond common sense there. Just don't do it. Even if you went out to the bar and think you're going to be all right to go out and drive because maybe you had 1 or 2 drinks, don't do it. Follow a zero tolerance policy, because that's what it should be. If you want to go out and drink and have a good time, just don't drive. Simple. Order an Uber or Lyft for yourself and get home safely. Don't risk anybody else's safety, especially out on the roads, anybody as a passenger or yourself. It's not worth it. Definitely not. And number 7, don't have a messy car or a car that stinks. People are getting in and out of the car quite often. And yeah, it sucks when passengers leave crap and paper and trash in the car, but don't have a messy car yourself. You're providing a service for other people in your own vehicle. So make sure it's clean, make sure it's going to be good. And then sense, you don't want a car that's going to be stinking, whether it's a bad smell or a good smell. A bad smell is going to put a passenger off. They're going to rate you lower. And also they're going to probably not tip as well, or have a bad experience. But also the flip side, don't have a car that smells too good or has perfumes, because those perfumes could be bad for a person that you have in the vehicle. Keep it as neutral as possible. A clean car is probably a very neutral smelling car. Clean doesn't have a smell. So definitely do that. Number 8, make sure your car is maintained well. Make sure your brakes are changed, that they're not squeaking, that you don't have a hole in your exhaust. Just put the passenger at ease. And if you are driving a car that's not well maintained, it's going to cost you more money in the long run. So if you want to save money because this job, you want to call it, or this gig, this side gig or this main gig, if it's providing your full income or part income or whatever, and you have to put money towards your vehicle, you want to keep it in tip-top shape. So it's going to be costing you less in the long run. Also, number 9, this is a big one. Don't touch the passengers. You just don't do it. It's against the terms and conditions within Uber and Lyft. And it's also, passengers do not touch drivers. It's a no contact policy. So just don't touch passengers. Don't get feely. Don't get touchy. None of that. Avoid it at all costs, because you run risk of being deactivated. And it's just bad practice. Number 10, which kind of follows with the don't touching, is just don't be creepy. Don't ask passengers for their Instagram or their Facebook or their phone number. If you guys have a mutual understanding and just agreed upon thing, you can become friends with them. I have had that happen with a few riders where I've become friends with them, and we've exchanged Facebook contact information or Snapchat information, but it was a mutually exclusive thing. So we both were in agreement upon that. But just don't be creepy and don't come across off that way. You might have that interaction, you might not. But yeah, just don't be creepy. And here's a bonus tip for a lot of people. Don't play music too loud. It should be more of a background type music. Something that's simple. And, I play different genres that are more instrumental, that don't have lyrics to it, for a couple of reasons. But one, it's more mood setting, and it's quiet, it's low. When people get in, they can talk and they can be more conversive. Also, if we're chatting back and forth, it's easier for them to hear me and me hear them. If somebody wants the music turned louder, they'll usually ask and say, hey, could you turn this up? At that point, sure, turn it up. But when somebody gets in or during the ride, just keep it low, keep it quiet, and just have it as a background type information, and just keep it as like a background type sound. So that's definitely a good bonus tip to have, because there's quite a few drivers that I've gotten in vehicles with where they do have the music a little too loud. And if you're trying to talk with somebody that you might be in the vehicle with, another passenger, then it can be pretty tough to hear or listen when you're having these conversations. So again, just keep it quiet. Those are 10 tips that I have for you, plus a bonus on things that you should not do as a rideshare driver. Again, a lot of those are common sense and just common courtesy things. But there's a lot of drivers out there that unfortunately may be doing these things. So a good refresher for a few people. And again, if you're new, without a lot of good knowledge out there directly from Uber or Lyft, it's good to watch these videos and get those out there. So again, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Also, a couple of things that you could do, give a good thumbs up for this video, and also comment below on what you do or what you recommend drivers should not do to help others as well. So make sure you do comment below. With that being said, that's the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. Also, again, if you are thinking about becoming a Uber or Lyft driver, make sure you click the links in the description below. Also, make sure to check out my channel called Real Rideshare Stories, where we do a lot of different things, whether it be a few tips or tricks, some bad driving caught on camera, and also especially what happens during real actual rideshare rides, and a window into some of the crazy and fun and adventurous type of things that happen during an actual rideshare trip. So check that out. All right, my name is Chris. This is the Rideshare Hub. We'll see you next time.